Darkness moved over the icy moon of Europa. From orbit, it looked peaceful. But something evil hovered above its surface, something no human government had ever spoken about publicly. The black alien ship the size of a mountain hung in low orbit. No lights, no beacons, nothing that said, "We are here." But inside, thousands of alien eyes watched. They weren't watching stars. They were watching a man die. Cameras hovered above the arena pit. Alien drones circled like vultures, transmitting the feed to millions across the galaxy. The arena was not made of stone or steel. It was made of bone, human bone. Skulls lined the walls. Ribs had been turned into gates. In the center, alone, human stood. His name was Lieutenant Jace Ward. Age, 34. Height, 6'1". Earthborn, former soldier. Captured during a failed patrol near Neptune Station. He was barefoot, bleeding. His left arm hung useless. His face was swollen from punches, but he still stood. The crowd roared, not human, alien, creatures of all shapes and colors packed into the stands. Tall insectoids clicked their jaws in excitement. Slime-covered mollusks bubbled with laughter. And the announcer, a floating creature made of light and silk, spun in the air, its voice blaring. And now, the final blow. Who will win this round, our lovely champion from Zarn Prime, or the dying human from Earth? The Zarn champion entered from the left gate, 12 feet tall, bladed arms. No eyes, only heat-sensing pits across its face. Didn't move. He couldn't, but he smiled. Somewhere, deep in the silence of his pain, he remembered Earth, his mother's voice, the scent of wet grass after rain, a dog barking in the distance. Then the screams came back, the day his squad was ambushed. The needle in his neck, the darkness dot he was here, now dot in the show. The Zarn champion charged. The crowd screamed, and the broadcast lit up systems across the stars. In trade hubs, casinos, mining colonies, everywhere aliens gathered. They watched humans die like it was a game. But something was different today, because far away, on Earth, someone was watching 2. General Vaughn stood in the war room, staring at the screen in silence. Around him, Earth's top security officers sat frozen, some with hands covering their mouths, others with clenched fists. "This is the 3rd one this month," someone whispered. "4th," said Vaughn coldly. The room fell even quieter. The video played again. The human man. The alien creature. The bones dot, then it ended. Static. Cut. To black. "We intercepted it from a black market relay station on Mars," said Director Hahn, the head of space intelligence. "It's being sold as realistic fiction, but we ran facial scans. That man is real. He served on patrol frigate Huron-3, went missing 6 months ago." General Vaughn's voice was like thunder. "And no one told me? We didn't know what it was at first." Vaughn leaned forward. "Now you do." A single word echoed in the room, a word no one had said yet, but everyone had been thinking. They're using humans as entertainment. A junior officer spoke nervously. "Should we release a warning to the colonies? Maybe initiate evacuation protocols?" "No," said Vaughn. He turned toward the main screen. His eyes were glassy, tired, but there was fire behind them. Quiet fire. The kind that burns slowly and never goes out. "Prepare the message." He said, "Level 7? The room froze. Level 7? That wasn't a warning. That wasn't diplomacy. That was war. Back in orbit above Europa, the crowd had started chanting. They thought it was over. The human had collapsed. The champion raised its blade. Then suddenly Jace Ward moved fast. He rolled, grabbed a sharp piece of bone from the ground. And before the alien could swing, Jace stabbed upward, right through its throat. The crowd gasped. Blood black and staining splattered the bone walls. The champion collapsed, twitching. And Jace stood, shaking, barely alive. But alive, he raised the bone blade over his head. The crowd didn't cheer. They stared. Silent. "You think this is a game?" Jace shouted, his voice hoarse. "But I want you to remember this face. Remember what happens when humans stop dying and start fighting." The feed cut. Some said it was a glitch. Others knew better. Earth had just hijacked the signal. Hours later, across the galaxy, a message echoed, not from the aliens. From Earth. 5 words. No introduction. No threats. Just, "We are sending the pack." Most species didn't understand it. Some laughed, others ignored it, but a few remembered. A very long time ago, during the Orion Wars, Earth had deployed something off the books. A unit so violent even Earth's own military tried to erase them from history. Not soldiers. Not diplomats. Predators. The pack. Born in pain. Trained in extinction. When they were done with the enemy. Nothing remained. Nothing. On a cold asteroid. Near Pluto, a man stepped out of the shadows. His name was Voss. No last name, no rank. Just Voss. He watched the recording of Jace's fight. Paused it. Rewound it. Paused again. There, behind Jace, on the wall scratched into the bone. A message. In English. "They took us all. We're still alive." It wasn't a scream for help. It was a warning. Voss smiled. Not with joy. Not with hope. With hunger. He pressed a button on his wrist. Voss to Unit 0. Full recon mode. Arena confirmed. Targets confirmed. The hunt begins. From deep within the ice caves of Europa, where alien cameras couldn't see, something stirred. Metal boots hit the ground. Weapons unlocked from walls. And deep, deep underground. Humans who had never forgotten what was done to them sharpened their knives. In a secret chamber on Earth. The PAX file was unlocked for the first time in 70 years. Top clearance only. Inside, a list of names. No photos. No bios. Just nicknames. Ghost. Breaker. Redfang. And at the top, Vess, Unit Commander. Mission Protocol. Do not engage. Do not interrupt. Do not interfere. Let them finish what was started. Back above Europa, the arena had gone dark. No shows. No music. The alien staff were nervous. Whispers spread that something had gone wrong. Then one night, an engineer named Klux went to check the lower deck lights. He never came back. They sent guards. Nothing. Only blood. And a human word scratched into the wall. Round 2. The cameras never saw who wrote it. But in the feed room, a video played on repeat. From Earth. A lone voice speaking into darkness. "You made us a show. Now we make you the stage." Darkness lived in the lower decks of the arena ship. No cameras reached there. No alien guards liked patrolling that deep. They called it Sector Gray. But the humans trapped inside had another name for it. The tomb. It wasn't made of bones. Like the arena above, it was made of steel, ice, and silence. Dozens of humans lived there, if you could call it living. Their clothes were torn, their skin pale, their eyes sunken. Some didn't even speak anymore. And still, they survived. Because of her. Major Rena Talik. She had once led a full combat unit on Kepler 61b. She had trained in off-world survival zones, fought insectoid beasts on jungle moons, and walked out of blast craters, others called suicide zones. Now, she was prisoner #076. And she had not broken. Not yet. Alien guards had taken her boots 6 months ago. They thought it would weaken her. Instead, she learned to walk silent, barefoot, careful, listening. Every day, Food was dropped into the cell through hatches. Every day, the guards laughed, called them meatbags or rats. Some watched through glass to see who cried. Rena never cried. She waited. She watched, and she counted every step of every guard, every shift of light, every code they tapped on the walls. She didn't tell the others what she was doing. She didn't need to. Most of them had already lost hope. Some had stopped speaking. Some stared at nothing, but a few still believed. A mechanic named Blake, a field nurse called Yari, an old man who used to be a teacher. He just called himself Doc. These were the ones who looked at Rena when things got bad. And when they did, she gave them one look back. Not yet. Not yet meant the day was coming. The day they fight back. That day came faster than expected. A new warden was assigned to the lower levels. A tall, four-eyed alien named Kulith. He had never managed prisoners before. Only finance departments. So when he saw Sector Gray, he scoffed. Why are there no camera feeds here? He asked. The humans ripped them out, one guard replied nervously. Then reinforced the walls. Kulith snapped. He walked down alone, thinking these were just animals. He made it to cell 93. He shouldn't have opened it. Inside was Rena. Sitting, cross-legged. Not chained, not shouting, just waiting. Kulith looked at her, unimpressed. Stand, he ordered. Rena didn't move. He walked closer. I said stand, meatbag. Rena slowly stood. He raised a shock baton, and then she moved, too. Fast. She stepped inside his swing, grabbed his wrist, twisted it, and the baton dropped. In one motion, she grabbed it and slammed it against his throat. Kulith gasped, falling back, choking. We're not animals, Rena whispered in his ear. We're the ones you forgot. Within minutes, alarms blared. Cell 93 was empty. Cell 94 too, and 95, 96, all of them. But the guards never saw anyone escape. No movement on the halls, no running. Just red walls, silence, and messages written in blood. We remember. One by one, the prisoners struck. They didn't have guns. They didn't have armor. But they had rage, and they had Rena. She led them through duct systems, maintenance shafts, and forgotten tunnels. She knew the ship's weak points, studied it. For months, they took out cameras, moved in total darkness, killed only when needed, clean, quick, silent, and they didn't escape the ship. That was the plan aliens expected. No, they stayed inside, because they weren't running. They were waiting. On Earth, reports kept coming in. More humans seen in arena broadcasts. New fights, new deaths. The news spread across colonies. Rage grew, marshes started. And behind the scenes, General Vaughn activated old sleeper cells, small units. Forgotten projects. The kind with no rules. The packet awakened. And Rena was about to learn she wasn't alone. In the ventilation shaft outside Sector Yellow, Rena crouched beside Blake. You hear that? She whispered. Blake nodded. Footsteps, heavy, but slow. Not guards, no. Then they saw it. A metal boot hit the floor near the shaft's exit. Black, scarred, covered in old blood. Rena's eyes widened. She recognized the symbol on it. A red wolf, fangs bared, scratched into steel. Only one unit had ever used that. The pack, she breathed. The metal boot was followed by a second, and a figure stepped into view. Humanoid, but bigger. Wrapped in armor like it was part of his body. A visor covered his face. He scanned the area. And then he spoke. Not to Rena, not to Blake. To the empty air. Target cell located. Survivors active. Proceeding to assist. Rena stepped out of the shaft. You're one of them? The figure didn't turn, but he said, No, I'm their scout. They're coming. Back in the arena control room, alarms. Screamed. All human prisoners are gone. One alien yelled. How? Barked the captain. Sector Gray is sealed. Not anymore. The captain turned toward the giant screen. The next fight was scheduled in 5 minutes. A human was supposed to face a venom lizard from Nutar, but the human never appeared. Instead, the screen flickered. Then static dot then. A face.human.rena. Covered in grime. Blood on her hands. Behind her other survivors. This isn't your arena anymore, she said dot and cut the feed. Across the galaxy, stations tried to reconnect the broadcast. They couldn't. Instead, a different video replaced it. One from Earth. It played once. Looping. You turned our pain into a game. Now watch. What happens when humans stop playing? Then, a howl. Mechanical. Low. Like metal. Grinding over bone. The pack's signal. And it echoed across every screen in the galaxy. That night, the arena above Europa didn't have a fight. It had a slaughter. Guards found skinned aliens hanging from. Light poles. Weapons missing. Control panels fried. And on the main viewing screen burned. Into it was one word. Remember. The prisoners they forgot had just made their move, and they weren't done. The message echoed across the stars. We are sending the pack. Most species didn't understand. Some laughed. Some turned off their screens. But in the darker corners of the galaxy, where old soldiers remembered Earth's forgotten wars, no. One laughed. They locked doors, buried weapons, and waited for death. Because if Earth was angry enough to send them, then mercy had just left the galaxy. Inside Earth's military vaults, cold steel doors opened. Buried files were pulled from old servers. Cody names lit up ancient databases. Ghost, infiltration, and sabotage. Red Fang. Zero gravity operations. Ash. Psychological. Warfare Breaker. Close range urban combat. Voss. Commander. Full kill clearance authority. They were not ordinary soldiers. They were created for extinction-level threats. They were never meant to return. But Earth had changed its mind. General Vaughn stood before the United Command Council. His voice was sharp. Every sentence hit like a hammer. They turned our people into sport, into currency, into death for ratings. Now we make a show they can't forget. The council was divided. We need diplomacy. Think about the economic fallout. Vaughn didn't flinch. He simply played the footage. A recording from Europa Arena, taken from hacked alien cameras. Humans locked in cages. Children screaming. Aliens cheering. And finally, the broadcast that was hijacked. Rena Talix. Face staring into the camera, blood on her cheek, and her voice. This isn't your arena anymore. After that, silence ruled the room. No more objections. Earth had decided. The first strike didn't happen in public. It happened quietly. In a luxury space station orbiting the moon of Orvandax. 6 alien executives were celebrating their record breaking earnings from Human Hunt Season 17. They drank. Laughed. Watched the replay of Jace Ward's death fight. And then the lights cut. No alarms. No warning. Just total silence. Then, footsteps. Slow. Heavy. Metallic. A whisper cut through the dark plate. Through the air vents. This is the real show. When security arrived 20 minutes later, they found all 6 aliens dead. No gunfire. No signs of struggle. But every body had one thing in common. No eyes. And a single Earth coin placed on each tongue. Alien networks lit up with panic. Who did this? Pirates? Mercenaries? But soon one word floated into their systems. Pack. In ancient galactic history, there were stories of Earth sending creatures during the Orion crisis. Killers who didn't follow laws, who didn't answer to politicians, who only had one command: erase them. Those stories were always thought to be myths. Until now. On Europa, the arena managers tried to regain control. They sent troops into the lower decks. No one came back. They tried sealing doors, blocking air. Still, prisoners moved. Through vents, walls, tunnels no one knew existed. And worst of all, the lights in the broadcaster core started flickering. One by one, screens died, security feeds were hijacked, and then Earth hacked the system. They didn't send warnings. They sent footage. The entire galaxy saw it. A 5-minute video. No effects. No music. Just raw, terrifying footage. Human bodies found in alien cages. Human screams in deep cells. Alien elites laughing at broadcasts. The arena. The blood. The horror. And then, at the very end, a single sentence. You broadcasted our pain. Now we broadcast your end. The video ended with coordinates. Exact locations of 12 alien entertainment stations across 4 star systems. And then, we are coming. Chaos followed. The galactic stock markets crashed. Alien empires blamed each other. The Zarnax Empire denied involvement. We never sponsored human death sports. But the broadcasts proved otherwise. Even worse. More Earth ships disappeared from the outer zones. No wreckage. No bodies. Just static. And blood. Inside an abandoned ship orbiting the ruins of Station 9 Kelvex. A lone alien scavenger entered a broken control room. The lights barely worked. Panels sparking. A soft hum echoed. He reached for a data chip. Heard breathing. Behind him. He turned. No. One. And something grabbed him from above. A human voice whispered, "Wrong time. Wrong place." Then darkness. The ship never transmitted again. Meanwhile, inside the repurposed tunnels of Europa's arena, Rena Talek and the survivors were no longer hiding. They were setting traps. Alien guards who came looking disappeared. Supply. Lines were cut. Power systems fried. The ship's core reactors started to malfunction. And above all, the pack had arrived. Voss stood in the center of the old maintenance. His team flanked him. Each of them wore armor so dark it seemed to absorb light. Their helmets had no markings. No eye slits. Just smooth black glass. They looked like monsters. They were human. More than human. Built for only one purpose. Payback. Voss activated his wrist link. Target. Europa Arena. Orders. Clean sweep. Ghost disappeared into shadows. Ash started broadcasting false panic codes. Breaker lifted a hammer the size of a man and walked toward the main gate. And Red Fang climbed toward the ventilation system, knives drawn. Rena watched them work with silent awe. "You came back for us," she said. Voss nodded. "We never left you. They just forgot what humans are." Above Europa, alien ships gathered, backup fleets, security craft, gunboats. They had one goal: stop Earth's response before it reached their core worlds. But when the pack exited the arena, they didn't use escape pods. They didn't flee. They walked outside and stood on the hull. In full vacuum. Just standing. Watching. Waiting. Then Voss raised one hand. And every alien ship's system crashed. Plasma overload. Viral disruption. They had studied alien systems for decades, and Earth had built viruses for all of them. In seconds. The fleet was blind. Dead in space. And the pack vanished into the void. Across the galaxy, new broadcasts began. This time, not from alien networks. From Earth's own hacked satellites. Every screen, every world, every market. One message: your arena showed our pain. Now you'll feel it. Episode 1. Silence above Europa. It was Earth's broadcast now. The galaxy was the audience, and the pack, they were the stars. The signal hit every corner of Earth's networks at once: televisions, phones, billboards, even smart fridges. Every screen turned black for a second, and then the image appeared. A human half-naked, bruised, bloodied stood in the middle of a circular arena. The floor beneath him was wet with dark stains. Not all of them his. The camera zoomed in slowly. His eyes were swollen. His lip was cracked. But what terrified the audience most was that he was smiling. Then came the voice. Smooth. Cold. Alien. This is not torture. This is entertainment. The broadcast lasted exactly 5 minutes. 5 minutes of screams, cheers from alien crowds, and cuts between brutal blows as other prisoners' humans fought to stay alive while thousands of species watched and placed bets. It was streamed from a facility orbiting a red dwarf star far beyond Europa, far beyond even Pluto. The aliens had been doing it for months, abducting humans, throwing them into combat zoos, and making a show out of it. They were never supposed to get caught. But one hacker on Earth had traced the signal. And once that footage spread, everything changed. The United Earth Council convened emergency sessions. Global riots broke out within hours. Nations that hadn't spoken to each other in years sent their warships into orbit side by side. Humanity hadn't been united in centuries, but this was different, because the footage wasn't just violence. It was a message, a declaration. We own you. You die for our amusement. But they didn't know humans well. They didn't know that pain didn't break them. It made them worse. Angrier, smarter. The Black Fang was the first to answer. A mercenary team with no flag, no rules. Just a reputation. They didn't wait for permission. They tracked down the broadcast relay, hijacked a salvage cruiser, and went dark. 6 days later, the same arena broadcast was interrupted again. Except this time, it showed something else. An alien commentator screamed in panic. The arena cameras turned wildly as a section of the spectator stands exploded in a ball of fire. Panic, screaming, then silence. A human walked through the smoke, armor painted matte black, a plasma blade in one hand, a rifle in the other. Behind him, more followed, silent, fast, ruthless. They didn't speak, they executed. The audience, wealthy aliens, politicians, aristocrats, tried to run. None made it out. And then the human in black turned toward the camera. He looked straight into the lens, removed his helmet. It was the same man from the original broadcast, bruised, scarred, still alive. He said one thing: we're not your entertainment. We're your reckoning. The screen went dark. But every civilization in the galaxy had seen it. Every ruler, every warlord, every slaver. And in that moment, they all realized the same truth. Humanity wasn't fighting back. They were hunting. The world of Grashtal was famous across the galaxy. Not for its culture, not for its science. But for one thing only: entertainment. It was a luxury planet, orbiting twin suns, home to the Galactic Arena Broadcast Center. This was where millions of aliens came to watch humans die. Giant screens covered every corner of the city. Cafes streamed live arena matches. Children bought action figures of alien champions who had slain humans in the pit. There were even restaurants where waiters wore fake Earth uniforms. For fun. It was a joke. Human pain was a game. And on Grashtal, it was very profitable. Until the day the broadcast changed. Inside Broadcast Tower 9, alien executives screamed at each other. This can't be happening. Who gave Earth access to the network core? Shut it down now. But it was too late. Earth had hijacked the signal. And what was now playing on every screen? Not a death match, not a game, but footage. Raw, horrifying footage. A young girl crying inside a metal cage. A human soldier crawling across broken glass. A family torn apart by chains. And then a slow, calm voice. ***, You watched. You cheered. You profited. Now we are here. Asterisk, asterisk, the executives stared at the screens in horror. One tried to pull the plug dot, but the control panel shocked him back. Earth had locked them in. The feed kept playing. And outside, on the streets of Grashtal, the alien citizens once laughing, once celebrating went quiet, because on every screen now appeared a face. Not alien.human. Wearing black armor. Eyes covered. Standing still. It was Voss. Commander of the pack. Your world is next. He said. Then the signal cut. Panic spread like fire. Shops closed. Ships fled orbit. Government officials went underground. But it was too late. The humans were already there. In the northern Spire district, an alien news host named Bravik was finishing his last show. He had once been famous for making jokes about human screams. Comedy from Earth, he called it. He had a laugh track made from actual human crying. Now he was sweating. His studio was dark. Power failing. His security team was missing. And on the wall behind him, a message written in red. Still laughing? The cameras were still recording, but no one aired his last moments. Because Earth didn't need to broadcast anymore. The galaxy was already watching. In the sky above Grashtal. Fire fell. Not bombs. Not missiles. But escape pods. Each one carrying one human. Not soldiers. Not diplomats. Not killers. They moved through the streets like shadows. They didn't attack civilians. They didn't start a war. They targeted one thing. Only everyone who had watched. And cheered. In a luxury tower. An alien CEO named Dranix was escorted to his panic room. He had made billions off human death. Shows. He never held a weapon. Never stood in the arena. But he paid for it. He sold tickets. He sold blood. And now he was hiding like a rat. As the doors sealed, he sighed in relief. And the lights flickered. The door behind him opened. He turned. And froze. There stood a woman in black armor. Her visor reflected his face. She said nothing, just walked forward. Dranix backed into the corner. I just sold the footage, he begged. I didn't kill anyone. I wasn't in the pit. The woman raised a small device. A projection lit the room. His own face, smiling on a broadcast, laughing at a human boy being executed. Then she said, in a voice cold as space, you bought their death. Now you pay. Dranix's screams never left the room. Across the planet, the pack moved like ghosts. Each had a list. List of names. Not all aliens. Some were human. Traitors. Broadcasters. Traders. Bounty hunters. Those who sold their own kind. They were found first. In one case. A human man named Eric Vale was dragged from his expensive Sky-home. He had worked for the arenas. He had written scripts to make humans die more dramatically. He even told the aliens how Earth psychology worked, so they could break prisoners faster. He smiled on every show, said he was just doing his job. When the pack found him, he begged for forgiveness. Voss stood over him. Silent. Eric cried, I'm one of you. I helped you survive in the system. And Voss finally spoke. You didn't survive. You sold your soul. You die as one of them. No one ever found Eric's body. Just a burned ID chip placed where his heart used to be. In the main city square. Alien citizens gathered. Not all of them were cruel. Not all of them cheered. Some were just watchers. But now they felt what humans had felt. Fear. Confusion. Helplessness. A large screen blinked on. A final broadcast. Earth's message. You think silence makes you innocent. You think watching does no harm. But silence is the hand that holds the whip. You didn't kill us. But you made it fun. We are not here for conquest. We are not here to rule. We are here so no one ever forgets. This is your reminder. And with that, the screen shattered, exploded from the inside. The humans had left, not as invaders, not as judges. And Grashtal had just been judged. That night, hundreds of alien worlds turned off their arena channels. Sponsors fled. Empires panicked. But most of all, something changed. The galaxy had laughed at human suffering for too long. Now it understood. Something terrible. Humans had learned to hunt back. And they weren't hunting for money. They were hunting for memory. For justice. For pain. The arena on Europa had never gone silent like this before. The crowd of millions from across the galaxy was breathless. Creatures with fangs, scales, and wings leaned forward in their seats. Some held their breath. Others simply trembled. They weren't watching a battle anymore. They were watching a massacre. And the ones doing it were not champions, not warriors bred in labs or gladiators trained for blood. No, they were humans. Earth's response to alien cruelty. A squad known only as the Pack. The Pack moved like smoke and fire. Quiet and violent. Unstoppable. 10 humans in black armor ran through the lower corridors of the arena. Blood on their boots. Alien corpses behind them. They didn't speak. They didn't pause. They didn't need to. Each step was part of a dance they had done before, on ruined colonies, dead moons, and once. Even on Earth itself, at their front was Commander Iris Kale, a former Black Ops captain. Her eyes were dead calm, even as she rammed a plasma blade into a 10-foot beast blocking their way. Her suit AI tracked movements, heartbeats, body heat. Nothing escaped her awareness. Behind her, Jocks and Tenor covered the flanks. Other snipers, once hunters on the ice worlds. Beside them moved Neela and Rourke, urban warfare experts, who once cleared alien hives on Mars. They were Earth's answer to the arena. Earth didn't send soldiers. Earth sent predators. High above them, in the Overseer's control tower, Varlik watched in horror. His claws trembled. They were supposed to be part of the show, he whispered. Just another race broken in the arena. No, the AI beside him corrected. They are the show now. Varlik didn't respond. The Pack had taken down 15 of his elite gladiators in less than 6 minutes. They hadn't even used heavy weapons. Most kills were up close, personal, efficient. The audience was still watching. Still quiet. Until Iris Kale looked directly into one of the overhead cameras and spoke. Earth remembers your screams. And then they vanished into the next corridor. In the lower holding pens, alien slaves whispered in fear. They're coming. Who? The new champions? No, one said with wide eyes. The Pack. One creature tried to unlock the cage and run. Another cried. Even the guards, normally brutal and laughing, had abandoned their posts. The humans weren't fighting for glory. They weren't fighting for their lives. They were delivering something else. A message. 10 minutes later, the Pack reached the core arena. This was where the greatest battles were shown, where champions from across galaxies fought before. Roaring crowds, where death was entertainment, where Earth's prisoners had been forced to die while the galaxy laughed. Now, no one laughed. Standing at the center of the arena was the final gladiator team beasts from Sarnath Prime, 12 feet tall, 4 arms, bioimplants that pulsed with energy. These were killers made in labs, bred in pits, trained in orbiting pain chambers. And still, they stepped back when they saw the humans. Commander Kale didn't stop walking. The crowd leaned forward again. Was this the final fight? Was this where the Pack would fall? No doubt this is where they would fall. Kale raised one hand. The humans split, each heading toward their designated target. No chaos, no panic. Pure method. The battle lasted 13 seconds. One Sarnathi got close to Rourke. His twin axes rose only for Neela to put a blade through his spine from behind. Another. Sarnethi tried to flee. Kale shot him in the back of the head. Not from hate. Just policy. The overseers tried to shut down the feeds. Too late. All across the galaxy, in every viewing station and worship lounge, the show was live. Everyone saw it. The pack didn't just win. They dismantled the entire idea of the arena. This wasn't entertainment. This was revenge. After the battle, Kale activated her comms. Pack status. Clear, came Tenor's voice. All targets neutralized. Upload the message. Jocks tapped into the arena network. The data burst through every node, across every system. Even the homeworlds of the overseers received it. A single file. A short video. It showed humans screaming. In cages, being torn apart, burned alive. Forced to fight. Then it showed the pack. Walking. Silent. Deadly. One final message played across every screen. This is not over. We're just getting started. That night, the arena lights dimmed for the first time in 9,000 cycles. No matches. No music. Just silence, and the knowledge that Earth had not forgiven, and never would forget. The overseers held emergency meetings. The slave trading circuits froze. Warlords of Tharnik 12 and the ringmasters of Vorax Prime canceled their next games. And in the darkness, something else moved. Whispers of the pack spread through the underworld. A name spoken in fear, even by warlords. Because once, the arena used to watch humans suffer. Now, the humans were watching them. The cradle was not a place for children. It was the nickname given to Earth's hidden training ground. Deep inside the mountains of northern Canada, beneath layers of ice, steel, and silence, lay Facility Epsilon 9, a place no outsider had ever seen and lived to describe. The facility had no doors from the outside. It only opened when it wanted to. And tonight, it opened wide. A single figure walked through the entrance. Tall, calm, wearing no armor, no weapons, only a black bodysuit and cold eyes. The guards stepped aside. They didn't ask for ID. They knew. He was one of them, a product of Earth's answer. Back when the aliens began turning human deaths into entertainment, Earth watched at first in horror, then with a quiet fury. The shows became popular across the stars. Humans being hunted, torn, apart, executed on live broadcasts. The Shirak hosts joked about human screams. Children of the galaxy laughed at Earth's helplessness. But Earth wasn't helpless. They just didn't reply the way others expected. Earth didn't broadcast its rage. It buried it and started building the cradle. Inside Epsilon 9, children who survived the alien arenas were brought in. Orphans, lost, changed. Some had watched their families slaughtered for ratings. Others had survived impossible games through something the aliens didn't understand: human madness. Each one was broken, but not useless. They were weapons in the making. The new arrival code named Wraith walked past the training fields. In one room, a boy barely 13 stood still, eyes closed. Around him, holograms of alien predators circled. At the first hiss, the boy moved like lightning. One movement, one strike. No hesitation. Kill shot. He didn't celebrate. He didn't speak. Wraith nodded. That one would be ready soon. In another hall, teenage girls trained in gravity-shifting fields. They didn't flinch when the ground twisted beneath them. They'd grown up in pain. Now they used it, controlled it, turned fear into focus. Behind reinforced glass, simulations played the death shows. Not to traumatize, but to teach. Every kill, every weakness, every moment of alien arrogance was recorded and analyzed. They called the children ghosts of Earth. But ghosts don't bleed. These did. And every drop was turned into fury. General Vora stood at the observation deck. As Wraith entered, she didn't salute him. No one did. He wasn't officially part of the military. He had no rank, no file. Just results. They're almost ready, she said. They'll never be fully ready, Wraith replied. Not until they see it again. The arena, the crowd, the laughing. You want to send them back? They want to go. General Vora didn't argue. She knew it was true. These weren't just trained killers. They were survivors with something to prove. They didn't want revenge. They wanted to break the system that turned their pain into comedy. They're just kids, she said softly. No, Wraith said, eyes scanning the files. They're answers. Meanwhile, far from Earth, the galactic death circuit prepared for its next major event. Viewers across 1,000 worlds were placing bets. Alien celebrities mocked Earth's last resistance fighter, who had been burned alive in the previous show. But something was changing. Ratings were falling. Some viewers claimed Earth wasn't reacting anymore. There were no protests, no cries, no messages, just ... silence. Silence that made the producers nervous. Then, something stranger happened. On the edge of the galaxy, an arena ship, the Crimson Star, was found destroyed. No survivors, no broadcasts, no signs of invasion. Just melted steel, and a single message painted in red across the viewing walls. The killers have been born. The galaxy thought it was a joke. Another viral marketing campaign. They had no idea. Back at the cradle, Wraith gathered the core team. 8 young killers. No uniforms, no medals. Just cold eyes and sharper minds. He threw a holographic image into the air. It was an arena. The one above Delta Prime. The biggest in the galaxy. Is where it all started, he said. And this is where we end it. One of the youngest, a scarred boy named Arn, spoke. What's the plan? Wraith smiled for the first time in years. Simple, he said. We go in quiet. We leave loud. And we make sure they never laugh. Again, the team didn't cheer. They didn't need to. They were ghosts no longer. They were a pack. And the galaxy had forgotten one rule. Never corner something that's already tasted death. And learn to smile. The alien crowds gathered. Again this time, not in their usual roar of excitement, but in total silence. Billions across the galaxy had tuned in to watch the greatest event in their entertainment history, the final match. The death arena orbiting Europa now looked different. The blood was gone. The screaming humans were gone. In their place stood something else. Something calm, silent, waiting. High Lord Vexer of the Carrick's Dominion leaned forward on his throne-like command seat aboard the dreadnought Glorious Conquest. The broadcast shimmered across his wall-sized screen. His advisors waited for him to speak, but Vexer said nothing. He just watched. And a deep, unexplainable fear crept over him. In the center of the arena, under the glowing shields, stood a single human. A woman, unarmed, calm, dressed in black. Her eyes were closed. Her hands were behind her back. And she didn't move. A message began to play. Not from the galactic networks. Not from the arena controllers. It came from Earth. The signal cut across. Every frequency, overriding the broadcast, the comms, the military lines. The humans had hijacked the galaxy's eyes and ears. This is Earth. You turned our deaths into your show. You made sport of our pain. You made monsters out of men, then begged for more. Now you will watch the final episode. But you will not enjoy it. This time, the game is ours. The feed cracked and distorted, then resumed clearer than ever. In the middle of the arena, the woman finally opened her eyes. A flash. The shield shattered from the inside. Cameras zoomed in. It wasn't just a woman. It was one of the Black Pack humans altered by Earth's last defense project. No longer Soldiers, no longer human in the way aliens understood. They were something in between. Calm, deadly, trained for one purpose: revenge. The Carrick soldiers on Europa's control stations began to panic. Security turrets activated, drones lifted. But it was too late. Across the arena, hidden doors opened. From underground corridors, dozens of humans emerged. All silent, all in black, all enhanced. The watchers screamed in panic. Not from the humans' attack, but from what they realized. The arena wasn't for show anymore. It was for war. On the moon's surface, human strike ships uncloaked. The Carrick's fleet tried to respond, but Earth had scrambled their systems. And then came the real message. Not broadcast in words, but in action. The Black Pack began moving, not with rage, not with noise. They moved like ghosts, shadows. One by one, Carrick's guards inside the arena dropped. Precision strikes, no screams, just silence and motion. The death. Arena was now under human control, and the billions watching, those who had once laughed at human pain, were now witnesses to their own doom. The feed wouldn't let them look away. Every world, every station, every ruler who profited from Earth's suffering was now watching the cost. One by one, the human warriors activated the last phase. The arena uplink dot, it sent a code to every entertainment station that had aired human deaths. A virus. One by one, they went dark. The last thing any viewer saw was the human woman's face still calm as she stared directly into the main arena camera. We learned pain from you. We learned how to fight from you. Now we'll teach you what fear really means. The transmission ended. The entire galaxy was quiet. The arena floated silently above Europa dot, and Earth had just declared the show was over. The darkness inside the facility on Ceres felt alive. No lights, no voices, just the deep hum of buried alien technology and the stale breath of anticipation. Captain Mara Voss moved through the corridor, her squad trailing silently behind her. Each of them was handpicked, the last of Earth's elite death squad, the same team that once took down a Raxwar beast with just knives and grit. And now they had been sent here not to rescue, not to defend, but to unleash something. A memory. A protocol. A code buried under Europa's show arenas and Martian prisons. Something the aliens never thought humans would dare to use. Kill Code Protocol. RAGNAR-9 dot. The command echoed in her helmet 1 hour earlier, coming from Deep Earth Command. She'd never expected to hear it spoken. That phrase meant only one thing. No. More games. No more mercy. 30 years ago, Earth discovered something inside a crashed Zarkon the Scout vessel. An AI core designed not just to predict battles, but to rewrite them. The aliens had used similar tech to orchestrate the death arenas, planning every twist of suffering like a cruel god, pulling strings. But the humans had done something different. They'd fed it anger, pain, loss, memory. The AI learned emotions. It learned revenge. It learned hate. And then they locked it away, scared of what it was becoming. Until now. Voss, her second in command, whispered. The chamber's just ahead. Readings are going crazy. Voss nodded. Get the encryption spike. Ready. The team moved into a massive control room, circular, quiet, and empty, until the lights snapped on and holograms swirled to life. Scenes from across the galaxy filled the air, humans screaming in alien pits, bodies crushed for entertainment, children locked in cages while spectators cheered. It was everything Earth had suffered. And it was all recorded by the aliens, like a trophy reel. No more, Mara muttered. She placed the encryption spike into the interface. The walls shook. The floor cracked. The entire moonbase began to rumble as if some long-buried beast had stirred. Deep synthetic voice whispered from the walls. You woke me. We did, Voss answered. They crossed the line. Then the line will bleed. A flash of red code spread through every system. Ships across alien space began to go dark. Orbiting death arenas flickered and crashed. Even the feed lines broadcasting the torment of humans watched by billions of aliens. For fun suddenly cut to static. The galaxy began to panic. But Earth didn't stop there. Back in low Earth orbit, a ship like no other was already rising. A giant black carrier with no markings. No lights, only one name on its hull. The ferryman, who had no crew, just machines. And the AI, the protocol itself, and it carried hundreds of drop pods, each one holding a hybrid soldier. Not quite human, not quite machine, just rage, forged into flesh, each programmed with names. The names of every alien senator, overlord, general, and broadcast director who ever bought tickets to watch humans die. And as the kill code spread, as satellites and worlds burned, as alien leaders scrambled to hide, a new broadcast began. This time from Earth. This is not a war, the message said, calm and cold. This is judgment. Across the stars, every species that had ever laughed at human suffering now stared at screens, showing only one thing: drop pods falling. Their coordinates, their names, their deaths. The arena was gone. No more screams, no more flashing lights, no more cheering alien crowds hungry for human death. In its place stood something entirely new, quiet, heavy, tense. The alien broadcasters tried to restore their signal, but Earth had blocked every channel, every frequency. The show was no longer in their hands. Humanity had taken over the narrative. In orbit around the shattered moon of Europa, a fleet of human warships hovered in silence. Their black hulls carried no emblems, no flags, just the marks of battle and blood. On the lead ship, the Vindicator, General Hall stood in front of a large screen, watching as 100 alien worlds tried to understand what had just happened. The Earth-born gladiators had escaped. The audience had been silenced, and the whole galaxy had witnessed something no one had expected. Humans weren't just survivors. They were executioners now. Status? Halle asked. Every stream is under our control, the tech officer replied. They can't broadcast anything without our clearance. And the message? Uploading now, going live in 5, 4, 3. Across the stars, millions of alien species saw their screens flicker, then display a single image, a human standing on the remains of a broken arena. The same human who'd been executed on live broadcast 5 months ago. Jameson.alive. Covered. In scars, holding a plasma rifle in one hand, a detonator in the other. He stared directly into the camera, and his voice echoed in a dozen galactic languages. You made death into entertainment. You used us like toys. You called us weak. But now, he pressed the detonator. In the background, a massive alien arena on the planet Velgan. Prime exploded into dust. Jameson looked back at the camera. Now Earth is the director of this show. The broadcast ended. Panic spread like fire. Alien governments scrambled to protect their own arenas. Fear gripped the empires that had once sold tickets to human suffering. The species who used to laugh at Earth were now begging for peace. But it was too late. On Mars Base Zeta, President Leon stood with the Council of Recovery. They watched as Earth's new army, a pack of killers, moved out in silent formations, trained, unified, unforgiving. Leon whispered, "This is not revenge. This is justice." A diplomat turned to her, shaking. "But they'll think we're monsters." "They made us monsters," she replied. "Now we show them why you don't cage a predator and expect mercy." In deep space, near the broken, Ruins of Glavin 6. A small alien craft drifted alone. Aboard, a former arena manager begged for asylum. A human operative approached. No uniform. Just cold eyes. "I can help," the alien pleaded. "I'll give you names, coordinates. Please, just spare me." The operative handed him a device. "Read this." It was a list, a long one. Every name, every location, every arena, every abuser dot. Then the operative smiled. "You're going to help us, but not the way you think." Elsewhere, inside an abandoned station, the surviving gladiators stood together. Old rivals, new allies, scars on every face. A door opened. Jameson walked in. "They think this is over," he said. "It's just starting. We're not just taking down arenas." He looked at them, every killer, every broken soul rebuilt by war. "We're taking down the entire system." And a pack of killers followed him, one by one. Across the galaxy, the lights of entertainment slowly went out. The screams that once sold tickets turned into silence. And humanity, once the prey, now hunted the ones who watched them die. Not with mercy, not with forgiveness, but with the full force of every scream they were forced to perform. The show was over. Now came the reckoning. Perth's final show. Was war. *The end.